Hi, this is Jenn Snyder-Gibson, and we're coming to you live from the Brand Builder Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina with the Breakfast Club Beat. In studio today is another one of my most favorite people in Charlotte. I just love this gentleman, Mr. John Gallina, who is the co-founder of Purple Heart Homes, and we have been fortunate enough for a very long time to have a relationship. So welcome to the Breakfast Club Beat podcast.
Well, it is great to be here with you, Jen, but I thought I was your favorite.
You are. Yeah, you're my favorite. Let me redo that. My favorite.
It is so great to finally be able to be on your show here with you. I've really been looking forward to this.
Well, I wanted to save it for Veterans Day.
And it's so appropriate.
Absolutely. So, okay. The way I have to look at this podcast is I want it to be something that if someone is not a member of Breakfast Club or they're not familiar with Purple Heart Homes, I want them to really be able to learn. So tell people a little bit about your military career and what it was that brought you to the place where you and Dale created Purple Heart Homes.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. For sure, this story goes back a number of years. Dale and I both enlisted in the North Carolina National Guard right out of high school. And while we didn't know each other in high school, we quickly developed a great relationship. And as you know and remember, Dale, this is bigger than life, gregarious, guy, that the crooked smile that everybody would fall in love with immediately. And so we had this competition throughout our years of service. We ended up deploying to Iraq in 2004 together. And ultimately, we were injured together when our vehicle hit 2 anti-tank landmines. And through that experience, Dale, having lost both his legs, myself suffering traumatic brain injury and some back injuries, coming home, we had these different pathways with different influences and experiences that, really converged and led us to form a nonprofit that would help serve all veterans from all generations with housing needs. We had saw at that time that most organizations only helped post 9/11 veterans. And there was a lot of older veterans that we wanted to make sure were receiving the help and support they needed and that they had earned.
I loved that. When you guys started Purple Heart Homes, I love that because you're right. There are so many that are post 9/11. Yeah. And the stories that I would hear from your team over the years about so many gentlemen in Vietnam and Agent Orange issues and the health issues that these men in their 60s, 70s, 80s deal with, it's awful, and I'm so glad that they've got an outlet like you.
Jen, we just served, this is our fourth 99-year-old veteran that we've served. His house was destroyed by a tornado in Mississippi back in the spring, and in the process, we went in and we provided a tiny house for him.
Oh, I love that.
You think about, this 99-year-old who slept through the tornado, by the way. He didn't have his hearing aids in. But he sleeps through the tornado, and his family moves the debris, gets him out of the house. In the process, he ends up couch surfing. Well, there are organizations that are out there helping build houses for 99-year-old veterans.
Yeah.
And so together with our team and our partners, we were able to build
How'd you find him?
An 800-square-foot house for him. It was through the community. A local gentleman had learned about him when he was doing his walk across America. Mm-hmm. And Rob Luna is his name, and veteran himself, and he comes across him and learns about his story, tells us about it, and the rest is history.
Now, you guys are in all 50 states, right?
Plus Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Oh, plus Puerto Rico. I did not know that.
Yeah, so we've been building in Puerto Rico now for about 4 years. We've got a chapter there.
How in the world did I not know that? Shame on me.
Yeah, we grow fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
you're always on the road. Like every time I talk to you, you're never in Charlotte. That's why I'm amazed we figured this out today.
It's really great to be home. I love my home. I love Charlotte. And I've spent a lot of time here, and through the process, a lot of people ask me, John, why do you do all this traveling? Because really, it's about inspiring and encouraging other communities to take up the mantle to serve their veterans where they live. That's where we see real reintegration happening, is when the veterans feel loved by their community. And, for Dale and I, that was the inspiration we had.
Yeah.
Our community helped us. And we wanted to spread that, right? We wanted to
Yes.
share that love. And it wasn't, too long after our first project that, we met you and learned about Hood Hargett Breakfast Club and
Yep.
found this great community in Breakfast Club that, is like, hey, we love veterans too,
Oh
right?
my gosh, yes, so
And
much.
while there's nothing else like Hood Hargett Breakfast Club across the country, I can tell you that there are lots of great Americans that want to help their veterans.
Sure.
And I tell people all the time, I get to see what's right with America every
Yeah.
single day.
Isn't that awesome? So tell me, how many people have Purple Heart Homes been able to help so far? Do you have a roundabout idea?
Yeah, we've a little over 5,600 individuals that have been impacted in one way, shape, or form. 1,800 projects.
Wow.
Many of our projects are or have been for transitional houses,
Mm-hmm.
and then a lot of the projects, what we've learned over the years is they're a husband and wife veteran couple.
Okay.
And so you've got a lot of that. And then, in some of our other projects, it's, been, through partnerships with other organizations that have helped. And you get a household of 4 or 5 kids, maybe the parents live in the home. And what we've come to realize, Jen, is that this notion of serving the veteran has a very positive impact on the family.
Mm-hmm.
And so a case in point, if you're a spouse of a veteran and your veteran can't get into a bathroom,
Yes.
right? Well, that inaccessibility has a mental health impact, right? And then
Absolutely.
it creates a rippling effect through the family, through anger and frustration, embarrassment, lack of
Depression.
dignity. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Depression,
Addiction.
addiction, all kinds of different
Yes.
things that happen. And so through that, we've come to realize that it's a lot of times it's the family member that applies because they're trying to get some relief for themselves. They recognize what the trigger is,
Mm-hmm.
but it's impacting them too. And so it's not just the veteran that's being impacted, but it's the whole community. The
Yeah.
neighbors are impacted,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, that's interesting. What would be, when you started this all these years ago, what's something that you learned about veterans that maybe you didn't realize before you started helping do homes?
I think it's that, we carry this notion of adapting and overcoming a little too far,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're taught and trained in the military to adapt and overcome, to be self-sufficient, to only rely on the man or woman to your left and right, only to rely on those that are wearing the same uniform. And there's so many good people that want to help,
Yeah.
but they get turned away for one reason or another because of the way the veteran responds to them or because they refuse to ask for help. But there's great Americans that want to help and want to, give back in thanks and gratitude for the freedoms that they enjoy,
Yes.
but they don't know how to connect with the veterans. And so I think there's as much of a challenge for the veterans to open up and be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that macho pride gets in the way
Yeah.
of being able to receive the help.
So, one question that I get about you guys a lot is, what can we do to show our thanks, or what can we do to help veterans? And I'm sure with you being in all 50 states, this is something you're hearing everywhere you go. What is something that we could tell our viewers and our listeners that they can do to help our veterans?
I think it's really, multifaceted. I think on individual level, just being aware and observing those that are around you. I think it's a matter of recognizing the hat that says I'm a veteran,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing the bumper sticker, the tag, right? The
Yes.
tattoo, is seeing those little things that say I'm a veteran. And they're conversation starters. It's an opportunity to have a conversation, not just to say thank you for your service. Take it a step beyond that and ask them a couple of simple questions. And I promise they'll open up. Where did you serve? When did you serve? What kind of unit were you in?
Yeah.
What was a funny memory that you had?
Oh, I like the
And-
funny
and
memory.
they'll
I like
open
that.
up and they'll share things. And I promise, as stressful as it is being in the uniform, there's a lot of funny memories. Right?
Yes.
And so with that, when you have that conversation, you're building a relationship that is helping to tear down some of those barriers between the veteran community and the civilian community. And one of the things that I share with folks all the time, our work is so much more beyond just serving the veteran. Really, we're trying to strengthen our community. As a taxpayer, you've invested into every single veteran that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not want some of that investment to come back to your community? Whether it's through leadership or through skills and trades that they've learned, to be able to bring that back into the community and strengthen and build your community. That's what World War II veterans were most known for.
Yes.
That's where they received that, that title of the greatest generation.
Yes.
Is this notion of what they brought back.
Yes.
And had the resilience. And well, that was because of the way they were received home. And so in our book, Wounded Homecoming, we talk about how the homecoming impacts what's next. Well, we can best strengthen the what's next and make the what's next possible by having a conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Learning about those experiences, tearing down those barriers, and being able to help connect with them on a deeper level.
I love that. I find, every November, right around Veterans Day, we team up with you guys for our breakfast. And, usually these podcasts, I don't say things that are going to time it because I'm not sure when it's going to run. But this one, I know I'm going to launch on Veterans Day. And I love the very next day, we have our event with you and Alden Mills, a Navy SEAL. And I just find that each year when we do this event, there's always the most heartfelt veterans in the room that I get the chance to meet. Our members get the chance to meet. And it's such a special time. And this year we're going to do it at the Stellenberger Aviation Museum, which is an amazing, amazing place. And I think we'll have a backdrop that just gets some incredible photos, patriotic-wise, for our veterans that are there that day. So I'm really excited about it.
Well, it's always a great event, no matter what month or what location it is. Jenn, you put on first-class events. You got a great team.
Thank you.
We're proud to be members of the Hood Hargett Breakfast Club, and I would encourage anybody that's listening to certainly check it out, because it's so much more than a networking opportunity, so much more than a learning opportunity. It's really a family. And
it is. It's totally family. I agree.
Even and being able to help work on projects. You guys do so much. I think you sell yourself short in a sense. Like, you guys are raising money to help veterans. You're, providing appliances to help one of our veterans, right?
Yes.
You're always engaged in some way, shape, or form. And I think that's really what it's about. And so beside people just having a conversation with veterans, Purple Heart Homes is always looking for those third-party fundraisers to be able to help raise the money to be able to execute these projects.
Well, I'll tell you, I've known you now for, I think, 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
My favorite call from you, I'll never forget. This just happened several months ago. And you're like, what are you doing right now? I was working. I was getting ready for a call. And I get on the call, and then you text me and you're like, I need to talk to you about Pete Hegseth. And I said, it was Daryl Lerner from Lerner Office Supply, Office Furniture. And I said, I need to go. I need to see what this is about. And I call you and you're like, how quick can you get on a plane and come do this event? Now, that was something we turned around really quick, but was amazing.
It really was. And,
never been to Tupelo, Mississippi, but sure, that was worth going. That's for sure.
It's an interesting place. That's for sure. We have so many great opportunities to be able to serve. And Scott Burns down in Tupelo, Mississippi, he has a great organization, 7 Days for the Troops. And just the opportunity to be able to partner with him and expand our work and help support his. And through another one of our partners, RDC Shoes, Darren had introduced us to Pete, and this all happened really while Pete was still with Fox. And so his confirmation, his appointment and confirmation happened from the time we started planning the event till the event actually took place. Up until the day I called you, we weren't sure if it was going to happen or not.
It was unbelievable. And I was so glad my husband wasn't on the road so he could actually go with me to this one.
It was really great.
It was fun.
People ask me about that event, and I think for me what stood out the most was Pete getting on stage. Now, you think about this, Secretary of Defense, third highest position in the country.
Yep.
Steps up on stage. His boss is the president of the United States. And the first thing he does is not say, hey, I'm Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. It doesn't say, hey, I'm a veteran. He starts impersonating President Trump.
I know, that was so great.
I'm like,
that
what
was
is
so
he
great.
doing?
Yes. Yeah. No, that was really awesome. It was the right room to do that, and people loved it, and it set the tone for just such a fun conversation with him. You
Yeah.
didn't you feel like this is how I said. I said, I think I'm at a pep rally for America. And that is exactly what I felt like the whole night. He was the biggest cheerleader for everyone that's serving, for those families, for the families that were in the room that had lost their sons. And it was so heartfelt. And you felt like for all the people that work under him, he validated and made you know how much you cared to him.
Yeah.
It was like something I've never been to. It was such a privilege.
Yeah, really a great event, and we were just thankful for you being there, and wish we would have had a little more planning time.
Hey, we raised $150,000, so that's not bad.
It was a great night for sure.
Yeah, it was
really
awesome.
Great night.
So, what's next for Purple Heart Homes?
You know, that's a really interesting question. We've been talking a lot about that lately, and you know, we're really focused on our manufacturing. I think a lot of people, you know, for me, the learning process of a 501c3, a nonprofit, as most people would call it, has really evolved. You know, now almost 20 years we've been doing this, and just to think that people see it as not a business, right? But it is a business, right? And
for sure.
And we're in the business of serving people. We're in
Yes.
the business of making life better for people.
Yes.
And I really come to look at it more as a social enterprise. You know, that
nice.
it's we're changing the way that we internally approach our work. And so we've really focused on manufacturing housing, so that we're, you know, a lot of times people are calling it tiny houses. They're, you know, 320 square feet for one model. We got another model that's 400 square feet. And so expanding that manufacturing into Texas and really growing the manufacturing side. And that's the core focus right now for us, is to make it so that your donation, 100% of your donation, goes directly to the veteran, and all the overhead is covered through the production of our housing.
Oh, I love that.
And it's not just to produce housing for the veterans themselves, but like here in Charlotte, in the 50-year plan for Charlotte, now they have these, you know, ADUs, accessory dwelling unit, you know, zoning pieces, where if you need to have what we would traditionally have called an in-law suite in your backyard, but maybe it's for a rental.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's an Airbnb, right? That you can have that here. Well, our 320 square foot manufactured house, fully accessible, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, is perfect and ideal for that.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And so to be able to have something that's locally produced, and knowing that that business model is supporting the veteran community, that's really what we're focusing on.
Well, I'll tell you what, John, you're one of my favorite people. I love everything that you work for, that you stand for, that you served our nation.
Yeah.
And it's been such a fun ride that we've had together. We've had so many different types of experiences, and I know there's more to come. There's more guitars to come. There's more fundraising to do. And I'm really excited for our event for Veterans Day this year. So thank you for being with us today. This was a treat.
My pleasure. And for the record, you are my favorite person.
Okay. You're my favorite too, John. You're my favorite.
There we go.
All right. I got it. Thank you so much. This was great. Love you,
Jenn.
John.